Welcome to the Pain Free Living podcast with myself and Bob. We're talking today about finance and stress that's born out of financial worries. I do feel I could talk about this a bit. I've trained as an accountant, and that's been my day job for many years until I retrained in positive psychology. But I also have clients that I see in terms of managing finances from a um, coaching perspective. So I see both aspects of it. One of the big worries about finance is, well, big one is scarcity. It's a scarce resource. Unless we've got a really well paid job, then actually, it's difficult to make ends meet. Things can come out of absolutely nowhere, redundancy, change in circumstances through no fault of our own, and it's almost like the rug is pulled from under us. You throw in family, you throw in dependence. So, we do have genuine financial worries, a lot of us, and especially at the moment with uh, the economic situation that we're in. It's understandable. These anxieties and these worries are actually, I would say, quite normal, but we can manage them. Uh, the big question is we don't know how long we're actually going to live for. So, how much do we save for our future? How much do we put into our pensions? So, these are all big questions. Finances are always, when I talk to clients with my accountancy hat on, there's always questions about, do I have enough? So, it's a lot about scarcity, it's about anxiety about the future. Um, but then it can be really specific. So I just thought I'd talk about particular client that I've got, um, who very, very well paid job. Um, in her job, she would actually be responsible for quite a significant budget in the business. And the whole thing with her job was that she had to make sure that everything was accounted for properly. So her spreadsheets were immaculate, but her home life was completely different. She was really struggling financially, even though she'd got this well paid job. And what it turned out to be was that it was only when she started to get curious and change her relationship with alcohol that she realized that actually what she'd be doing on a nightly basis was spending money on, on buying things through Amazon and social media. And so she had almost the shame when she woke up the next morning of thinking, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have drunk again, but I did last night. Then she would think, oh my goodness, how much have I spent? And then the things that she'd ordered would start arriving. And it literally there was like almost like a triple shame wheel going on day after day after day. And it was only when she got curious about her alcohol, and that was because her sister was actually an alcoholic, she decided, I think I need to take a break. And it was when she was taking her break that she realized that actually she wasn't going online and she wasn't shopping in the way that she had been. But she was left with her kitchen table full of unopened envelopes and bank statements that had been there for over a year that she just hadn't looked at. So the the help I was able to give her with my accountancy background as well was to actually go through the very small steps of getting back in control of her finances. Because again, this is about control and losing control. And where she felt in control at work, she was totally lost, literally. And that was one of the words she used, lost at home. Um, the great news is, for the first time ever, and she's 53, she's actually managed to save. She's got a little nest egg. Yay. And she's never had that before. So, you can turn things around, but it's a matter of working through. And it was tough. It was very tough for her. Uh, but in terms of her physical symptoms, uh, she was suffering from a lot of stress. It was bordering on depression. It was affecting her work. It was affecting her family relationships. And she was suffering really, really bad migraines as well. Um, and just the sheer tension and the anxiety that she was going through had a physical impact on her.
Yeah. And this kind of leads neatly into where we always talk about good physical health and good mental health. If you have poor mental health, in the case of this lady, where she was stressed significantly and over time, that can spill over into physical health. So symptoms like migraines are not unusual when you are stressed constantly. Sometimes migraines have triggers. Sometimes it's the physical stress that causes it to trigger. So one of the things that stress can cause is increased muscle tension. It can cause increased blood pressure. It can cause increased heart rate. It can, because stress is a fight or flight, freeze or fawn response. The fight or flight part of that is that it restricts blood supply to the bits of the body that your brain thinks you don't need. So that is it will increase blood supply to the heart and to the major muscles like the legs and the arms. But actually, what it also does is it reduces and restricts blood supply to things like the muscles in the neck, to it reduces gut activity, because who needs to be digesting food but you're trying to run away from something or fighting it. It also increases breathing rate, which can increase tension in the neck muscles, and all of these things can lead to physical issues like migraines. It can increase your body's sensitivity to pain. So if you have issues anyway, it can make them feel worse. So what Claire's client was experiencing was not just not just the mental aspects of stress, but also the physical aspects of it. Um, but luckily, there are things that you can do in addition to the therapy coaching. You can also do things like mindfulness, breathing exercises, stimulate. So uh, we have other podcasts that cover this in more detail, but we've got sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. The symptoms that Claire's talking about from a physical point of view are because the sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive continuously, whereas the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest, digest, recover, relax part of the system. So what I would be encouraging from a physical therapy perspective is to do things that will boost the parasympathetics, like mindfulness, like listening to music, like breathing, taking a shower, like going for a walk, all of those things that really simple to do, but seem much more difficult if you're in a stressed environment. So the good news is that yes, you can improve the physical aspects of what is going on as well as supporting the mental health side of things. So I think that's kind of where I would come in as a physical therapist.
Interestingly, she did get into painting and singing
Yeah.
and wait for it, forest bathing.
Yeah. All things.
So she definitely embraced all things mindfulness,
Yeah.
and it's worked.
Yeah,
That's
and it does work, and it's a really useful counter to that sympathetic overload. So, and this is why we work so well together, because, like I said, you cover the mental health aspects of it, I cover the physical therapy aspects of it, but there is so much that goes on that's interlinked that, yeah, as we said, you can't have one without the other.
I think there's a lot of shame actually attached to people whenever they feel they can't manage their money. Um, but actually, there's nothing. It's about understanding it, and it's about having putting systems in, I guess, systems and ways to manage. Because when in the olden days, when everything was cash,
Yeah.
we'd get our prime pay packet at the end of the week, and we'd know exactly how to do your items. No, I know. I used to put the money in the pay packets, mum, with the little windows, but never mind. Whereas now, it's all digital. And the danger is if it's digital and if it's night and you're having a glass of wine, you're not necessarily being very intentional about what you're spending. Whereas what we can do is actually make use of these digital apps because, all pretty much all the banks now, you can go on there and you can see what you're spending. You can categorize it. So actually, if you use your app, if you know how to use your apps, you actually get some really good information, some data about where your money's going. And that's one of the first things is actually to find out where is it going? What are you spending it on? Because if you don't know where it is, you can't control it. And then it's by putting boundaries in place and understanding and limits even in place to be able to manage that.
Yeah.
So don't feel shamed. Just talk to someone and yeah, don't be embarrassed. But there are tools and tricks out there to be able to help you with managing money.
Yeah, and all I can add to that is that never be ashamed, never be afraid to ask for help, because there is always some help available. Even though you may feel that nobody can help you, there will always be somebody that can help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you, Bob. I think that's
is that
that
right?
it.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
wrap,
and
I
yeah.
think.
Okay, that's what video people call it. It's a wrap. Okay, so we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll put some links in the show notes about if you do have financial issues, where to go for help. If you feel overwhelmed and you are coping with your current situation, then we can help signpost you to people that can support you. So hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you got something out of it, and we'll see you at the next one.